Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so when I say the word hacker, what instantly pops into your head? Probably some shadowy figure in a dark hoodie hunched over a glowing keyboard in a basement, right? Well, we need to completely scrap that stereotype. The reality of modern cybersecurity is vastly more complex. Today, we are peeling back the layers to figure out exactly who these modern cyber adversaries are, what drives them, and most importantly, why they choose the specific targets they do. We're going to break down those outdated cliches and build a much more accurate picture of the real threats out there.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, knowing your cyber enemy. Second, the attacker matrix. Third, motives and target selection. Fourth, profit and political threats. And finally, the unpredictable and personal.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, knowing your cyber enemy.
To frame this whole discussion, we're actually going to look way back, like 2,500 years back, to Sun Tzu's The Art of War. He famously said, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. In our modern digital age, knowing your cyber adversary isn't just about analyzing their code. It's about knowing exactly what they are hunting for. That understanding is literally the absolute foundation of all cybersecurity. Now, before we get too far in the weeds, we got to talk about the word hacker. It's kind of loaded, you know? There's a lot of debate in the tech community. Some people use it to describe a brilliant coder at a hackathon, and some security pros proudly call themselves hackers because they use their skills for good. So with all due respect to the nuance out there, we're going to establish a clear, serious baseline for this explainer using Google's definition. A hacker is a person who uses computers to gain unauthorized access to data. Basically, for our purposes today, we're talking about the bad guys. Moving right along to Section 2, the attacker matrix.
The simplest dividing line in this matrix is the color of the hat they wear. You've definitely heard of black hat and white hat hackers. Well, the fascinating thing here is that the technical skills between a black hat and a white hat might be completely identical. The one key difference? Consent. A white hat is someone you've actually hired under contract to run a penetration test and find vulnerabilities. They play by the rules. A black hat operates without permission and breaks in maliciously. Consent is literally the only thing separating the professional from the criminal.
But you know, the hat is just one single dimension. These attackers operate on a huge, multi-dimensional spectrum. Take their skills, for example. On one end, you've got script kiddies who just copy and paste pre-written code to grab easy, low-hanging fruit. On the other end, you have elite coders targeting heavily fortified banks. Then look at their tactics. A social engineer, for instance, chooses their target simply because they've found a vulnerable human. They actually hack people instead of servers. And psychologically, we're talking everyone from calculating criminals to out-and-out sociopaths. And each one of those psychological profiles hunts for a very different kind of prey.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, motives and target selection.
Now that we see just how diverse attackers are, we get to the absolute core of this explainer. To understand why a hacker chooses a specific target, you have to look straight at what motivates them. And there's a great little mnemonic for this. The 3 Ps: piracy, profit, and politics. If an attacker wants to copy a movie for free, their motive is piracy, so they hit a media server. If their motive is profit, their target suddenly becomes a bank or a massive corporation. And if it's politics, they'll target the websites of organizations they fundamentally disagree with. The big takeaway here is that the motive absolutely always drives the target selection.
Let's dive a bit deeper into that with Section 4, profit and political threats.
Look at how flawlessly the hacker persona maps to the target based on those motives we just talked about. This taxonomy from security expert Roger Grimes lays it out perfectly. Take corporate spies. Their motive is profit, stealing intellectual property, so naturally their target is a competing business. Next up, hacktivists. These are folks hacking to make a political or social statement. They use tactics like e-graffiti or denial of service attacks to take down organizations they want to protest. And then you have cyber warriors. As militaries modernize, cyberspace is the new battlefield. Cyber warriors target enemy nations, creating this wild, asymmetric threat where literally any country with the computer network can suddenly possess cyber warfare capabilities.
At this ultra-elite level, especially when we're talking about nation-states and advanced persistent threats, attackers are incredibly well-resourced, and they are constantly hunting for the holy grail of hacking, a zero-day. A zero-day is a software vulnerability that has absolutely no patch available yet. None. The second it's discovered and used by an attacker, the target is completely defenseless. Possessing a zero-day is like having a master key to the internet, and it allows elite hackers to target virtually anyone, completely changing the calculus of who they decide to go after. Finally, let's bring it closer to home with Section 5, the unpredictable and personal.
So we've talked about massive institutions, nation-states, elite cyber warfare. But what if the threat isn't a shadowy group halfway across the globe? What if the threat is already inside your own organization or even inside your own home? I'm going to let you just think about that for a second. Let's snap our attention away from the global stage and look at target selection that happens dangerously close.
When we look closer to home, we find two wildly different kinds of threats. On one side, we have rogue hackers. These actors are pure chaos. They operate outside all normal constraints, they defy easy definition, and honestly, their motives aren't always obvious to us. But on the other side, we have something maybe even more surprising, the accidental hacker. This is someone right inside your organization with zero malicious intent. Maybe they misconfigure a server or unknowingly download malware. The ultimate tragic irony here is that the accidental hacker doesn't consciously choose a target. They accidentally turn themselves and their company into a massive bullseye for opportunistic predators.
And then there is a threat that is rising fast, and it is fiercely, uncomfortably personal: the cyberstalker. This attacker isn't after corporate secrets or a global political statement. Their target selection is driven by deep, psychological motives focused entirely on one specific individual. They'll install spyware on a victim's phone to track their real-time GPS. They'll intercept private text messages. They can even remotely turn on the camera and microphone just to listen in. It is a terrifying, highly invasive threat based entirely on personal obsession. So, as we wrap up everything we've explored today, the absolute most crucial point is this: whether the attacker is a script kiddie trying to steal a movie, a nation-state armed with a zero-day, or a cyberstalker targeting your personal phone, complacency is your worst enemy. As the source material so perfectly, bluntly puts it, if you're satisfied with your security, so are the bad guys. Which brings us full circle right back to Sun Tzu. We absolutely have to throw away that outdated stereotype of the hacker in the hoodie. We have to truly know our enemy, understand their complex psychology, and figure out exactly why they choose the targets they do, so we actually stand a chance at fighting them off.
So, we've broken down the matrix, and you've seen exactly how and why modern hackers choose their targets, from accidental insiders all the way up to elite corporate spies. I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to ponder. Now that you know exactly who is out there hunting, are you still absolutely sure you aren't a target? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your systems updated, stay vigilant, and never stop learning.